I will be doing a portrait painting of Jinx from Arcane or the League of Legends by Riot Games. This will be a mixed media portrait. I'm starting with the base colors for the background, keeping them quite bright, because that will also be the base colors for the coming figures that I will be drawing to the background with the masking fluid. I will keep the character quite fair-skinned, but then there will be the bright colors popping in the background, and then also there will be quite strong and bright colors in the hair and the clothes of the character. Little tip on painting the eye color. I did quite strong mixture of color and then put it for the entire iris area, and then lift some of the color off from half of the iris area. And then afterwards you can then strengthen the color on the edge areas or around the pupil. Now that the background is dry, I can start drawing the scribbles I had made for the background with masking fluid. And then while the masking fluid then dries out, I will be then continuing on with the details in the portrait, and I will leave the masking fluid waiting for the second layer for the background. So I'm adding now the darker areas and then starting to get more hues and the makeup for the face. Portrait background has had some time to get dry, I do the other layer for the background, so then the first brighter layer will be then popping out when I take off the masking fluid eventually, but now again it has to be then drying thoroughly before I even dare to try to take off the masking fluid. So I will be then continuing again on the portrait next, adding details to the clothes and the hair. Now I had waited a bit and then can start removing the masking fluid once the paper was entirely dry. It didn't come off that easily, so it took me quite a while. But at least the paper surface was not damaged. This is the first time I'm redoing the mouth, so as you see I couldn't lift the color that much. The red that I'm using is staining color, so not all can be lifted from the paper, but that was fine because I was anyway going to be doing a mixed media portrait, so I can remedy that with gouache or even the wax crayons that I will be using also. I wanted to change the smile into a toothy grin, even though there was a possibility I will be messing up the whole painting. Then, as the final touches, I was adding some details with the wax crayons now and later in the end, so adding a bit more of the stars and other figures and letters, words around the painting on top of the portrait and in the background. And here I'm still fixing a bit of the teeth, not leaving them as big as they are now, but just to give the room to be fixing the lower lip on top of the teeth then. And then I will be adding the final details, darker areas back to the mouth area. And then it will be pretty much ready.